Happy October, y'all! It's spooky month, so that means the air is getting chilly as we listen to some spine-chilling villain songs. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now and I'm finally getting around to it. Villain songs. We know them, we love them, and I want to yap about my favorite ones. There's going to be a number of people watching this video who are going to think, hey, this is kind of similar to Shea Fearless's one he did a number of years ago. And to that I say, it's not my fault we have good taste. As long as it's a song sung either by or about a villain, it's allowed, but I will be restricting it to one song per media, because otherwise half of this list would be songs from one particular musical I'm obsessed with that I'll be getting to. With that said, let's begin the ranking, shall we?
Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil.
I've been meaning to rewatch this movie for forever and a half, and this song gives me all the more reason to make time for it. Eventually. It's short, at least in the movie, but the soundtrack gets extended with a nice jazzy piano intro and instrumental break. But in the movie, we get Roger being an absolute delight, adorably teasing his wife Anita. Ugh, they're so freaking cute together. Trolling Cruella without her even knowing it by obnoxiously playing the melody on the piano and trombone, then mocking her with her scarf and cigarette holder when she leaves. It's a great song that leads up to Cruella's arrival, especially with her silhouette creeping up behind the door. And the context is surprisingly lighthearted, since all Roger's doing is poking fun at her. It's a memorable song that's attached to one of Disney's most iconic villains.
I'm number one. You're number two.
Not to be confused with We Are Number One from Lazy Town. Okay, hear me out. It's a Muppet song. Come on! Constantine is such an icon. I believe in equality as long as you get less than me. He's so silly. And say what you will about Ricky Gervais, I know, but he genuinely has a great voice in this. And of course, this being a Muppet joint, the puppetry is awesome. All the more reason for us to get another Muppet movie. We're long overdue.
Barely even human.
When you grow older and understand the historical context behind the song and movie, singing along to it feels wrong, but I mean, it's still good. Not what they're singing about, obviously, but the vocals and instrumentation are great. It's Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz after all. The second half of it especially is great with its marching rhythm and overlapping melodies. I also like the shots of Thomas feeling unsure about all of this. I love those moments in movies when someone working for the bad guy has that this is going too far realization, because it reveals they have some humanity inside of them. I do have to point out though, this part of the song has some of the worst audio editing I've ever heard in a big budget movie.
Let's go get a few men.
They did the thing where they edited it after it's released, like that racist lyric in Arabian Nights from Aladdin, where yeah, it's a different guy singing the changed lyrics, but at least it blends in decently nicely. But this...
Let's go get a few men. Let's go get a few men.
What is this? It's still a great song, even if the movie it came from has an aura of... yikes.
I'd rather be shining.
Hope my boss doesn't fire me for having it this low. LOL. The fact that it's been 9 years since we last had a good villain song in a Disney movie. This is the thanks I get is blah, and I don't know if Get Lost even counts, but even then it's just meh. Damn. There's not much I can add. It's a fun, lighthearted villain song that's actually good, and I just absolutely love the implementation of bioluminescence during the bridge and final chorus. It's such a great way to visually shift the tone, and it complements the musical aspect of it so well too. This is kind of like a new and improved version of The World's Greatest Criminal Mind from The Great Mouse Detective, where you have a bunch of drunk people singing about how awesome their leader is, but Gaston has a better flow and catchier lyrics with a recurring like Gaston motif. I especially love the soundtrack version where it gets this extended bit with the chorus and stupid little LeFou struggling to spell Gaston's name. I know Gaston is iconic, you know Gaston is iconic, everyone knows Gaston is iconic, so there's not much more else I could say. It's weird having a song from my favorite movie this low on a list, but oh well. While Hotep and Hoy aren't the most terrifying villains or even the most interesting in their own movie, they still pose a decent threat toward Moses, as they're easily able to sway the crowd with smoke and mirrors. I love the chanting of the Egyptian gods, the intimidating strings, and Steve Martin Short's voices go really well together. No wonder they're such besties. I had learned this was originally going to have a polar opposite tone where it was going to be upbeat and fast-paced with, I think, showgirl-like backup dancers, until the directors were like, hey, how about we don't stop the serious and mature tone we've already set to a screeching halt? So yeah, they reorchestrated it with a slower and more menacing tempo, and you know what? Good call. It pays off wonderfully. The final chorus especially builds into this awesome climax. Banger song.
Then she'll be mine.
Ooh, this is a fun one. Now we're getting into the ones I really love. And we're starting off with what might be the most obscure one on this list. Gallivant is a TV show that premiered on ABC in 2015 with songs composed by legendary Alan Menken and lyrics by Glenn Slater, who both worked on Tangled together. I loved it when it came out, but it sadly got cancelled after 2 seasons. It's basically Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the musical of the series, where it opens with the banger musical number called, get this, Gallivant. The lover of the dashing and heroic titular Gallivant, Madalena, is kidnapped by the evil King Richard, who wishes to marry her. When Gallivant crashes their wedding day to save her, she decides, actually I'd rather be rich.
I'm really sorry, Gal. Hope we can be friends.
A year passes and Gallivant has fallen into depression, but with the help of a princess and squire, he decides to attempt to save her once more. Meanwhile, Madalena is miserable being a queen and refuses to be involved in any way with King Richard as she keeps comparing him to Gallivant. And that's how we get She'll Be Mine, a deliciously dark song about all the ways he wants to kill Gallivant to prove himself worthy to Madalena, with lyrics like, I want to liberate his head from his neck and then punt the bloody wreck sky high. They're paired with pleasant and jaunty instrumentals to make it a hilarious and utterly delightful musical number. One could call it a dark and twisted take on the I Want song, as he proclaims that once he's finished, he can go back to all his hobbies, like raising taxes and tormenting the poor. Ugh, this song is so stupidly catchy. Hey, he may want to do these terrible things, including starting a genocidal war, but at least he respects Madalena's vow of chastity. That's a feminist king right there. Kid, this is just a great song from a great show that deserved better.
Oh, that was ripping.
Poor unfortunate souls.
This song is from The Little Mermaid, aka the reason why we have all these banger animated musicals in the first place. A classic Faustian bargain scene that is made even better with this memorable musical number. I like how Ursula manipulates Ariel into giving up her voice by saying men don't like yappy women, but it is funny knowing full well my boyfriend would come in saying, but I can't deny, the way Pat Carroll sings, They Think a Girl Who Gossips is a Bore is mwah. Howard Ashman, I miss you every day. And if you watch this segment during Fantasmic at Disneyland, there's a couple lyrics that have different takes and they sound so cool.
They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch.
Ooh, and the instrumental intro with the dun 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 bolt, bolt, bolt is damn great stuff. It's no secret that Ursula was based on the drag queen Divine, and going back to Howard Ashman, he envisioned the number as a drag show and it works so well. The beginning is slow and menacing and it's a great unique vibe, and then it explodes into this awesome climax. I may not have watched this movie in forever, but this is the one thing that has stuck with me all these years.
Mother. No! No.
This is a hot take. I love the original Mother Knows Best, don't get me wrong, but this one hits different. The original does the She'll Be Mine thing and use cheerful sounding instrumentals while the character sings about more sinister things, and it's great, but the reprise takes a full 180. You got these big bombastic strings and horn sections, the kind that makes you lean forward in your chair, as Mother Gothel is now directly degrading Rapunzel and further manipulating her, saying, don't say I didn't warn you, knowing full well she's gonna come back crying and guarantee her loyalty to her forever. I also love the lighting in this scene. Sure, it's at night, but you have the campfire in the background backlighting the two of them and it looks awesome. It's got this nice gradient to it. And the part when she snaps and sings That's How Fast He'll Leave You scratches an itch in my brain that's so satisfying. This song's short, I know, but I love it. I love Anastasia because it is definitely absolutely historically accurate, and this is my favorite song from it for sure. I mean, you have lyrics like, then I opened my eyes and the nightmare was me, which goes hard, but then you have him dancing with bugs and stuff, and it's like, why? But I'm here to talk about the song itself. It's super memorable, and it blows my mind that that's not Christopher Lloyd singing, but famous voice actor Jim Cummings. They sound the exact same, and it's insane.
Mark my words. You and your family will die within a fortnight. In the dark of the night I was tossing and turning, and the nightmare I had was as bad as can be.
I especially love the way he sings Fly Ever Faster. It's got this really great growl to it. Y'all, this song is such a freaking jam. Hey, speaking of villain songs sung by Jim Cummings.
Be prepared.
another bona fide hit. I don't know how people feel about the extended intro with Scar wanting to tap into the hyena's potential, but I personally love it. I remember watching the movie for the first time in forever after being so used to the soundtrack, and I was like, what do you mean this isn't in the movie? Whatever. The colors are oh so vibrant, the volcanic landmasses shape-shifting as the song progresses to signal its intensity is a stroke of genius, the hyenas are freaking goose-stepping, come on! While I did say this was sung by Jim Cummings, I only meant partially. Jeremy Irons does a fantastic job, but his voice gave out before he could do the final chorus, starting with, "You won't get a sniff without me."
Point that I must emphasize is, you won't get a sniff without me!
With the tonal change, it justifies his voice suddenly becoming more growly, just like in The Dark of the Night, and it's a seamless transition. The hyena backup vocals also help cover up whatever differences are between the two voices. This guy really is something else. But going back to Jeremy Irons, I love the playfulness he has when he sings Lifetime, and the dialogue bits with him and the hyenas flow well with the song. Overall, it is such a classic that you cannot go wrong with. Wait, now for my next song, it needs a very specific introduction. C minor. Put it in C minor. What the heck was that?
C minor, like you asked.
It doesn't sound like the song, though.
Well, yeah, because it's played in G minor.
Well, then why do they say C minor?
I don't know.
Well, G minor. Can you put it in G minor?
Happy now?
Indubitably.
I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night.
I hate that this is not on Spotify. The fact that they had the audacity to single-handedly remove it from the soundtrack is criminal. This is a stretch, I know, but I can make it work. Look, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the Shrek franchise, obvious exceptions aside, but Shrek 2 is great, and this is undeniably the best scene out of all the movies. Fairy Godmother uses the song as a cover-up by using Fiona's internal monologue in order to manipulate her into kissing and falling in love with Prince Charming and leaving Shrek. She needs the dashing but shallow prince she's reluctantly dancing with right now, not the ostracized but earnest ogre who's racing his way toward her right now. The song starts with the amazing piano solo coupled with the crowd coaxing Fiona, peer pressuring her into the dance with Prince Charming. You got the iconic "hit it" as she fully locks in and Shrek begins having fun storming the castle with Mongo. I love the use of the lyric, "He's got to be larger than life," as you have this giant gingerbread man attempting to break in, and "somewhere after midnight, in my wildest fantasy, somewhere just beyond my reach, someone reaching back for me," as Shrek is racing against the clock before it strikes midnight. If you told me this song was written for the movie, I'd believe it. It fits so well. And that third instrumental break with the string section going all out, ooh, chef's freaking kiss. Aside from the manipulation and peer pressure, Fairy Godmother is using her evil ways to give us a cover that is miles better than the original. Hey, I never said I had a lengthy, rock-solid argument as to why I consider this a villain song, but I can definitely see why it was chosen to be sung by the movie's villain.
And I got friends on the other side.
One of my favorite villain songs sung by one of my favorite villains. From a movie I wish I loved. The Princess and the Frog is a good movie, don't get me wrong, but I'm sorry, no other scene reaches the high highs of Friends on the Other Side. From Keith David's butter-smooth vocal performance, who should really just be casted in everything, the gorgeous color palette, especially during the final chorus, and the wicked foreshadowing that's just under our noses. How the curtain forms skulls when it's shadowed by Dr. Facilier, and lyrics like "hop from place to place, but freedom takes green," alluding to him turning Prince Naveen into a frog. Even the lily pad on the card, it's just too good. And of course, the 2D animation is incredible. I absolutely love Facilier's character movement because he's got some fantastic moves. And that shot of him with the sugar skull on his face, magnifique. Yeah, I know we got Shiny a couple years later, but I do miss having Disney villain songs of this caliber, ones with high stakes and we were actually intimidated by the villain. Overall, Friends on the Other Side is fantastic, and Keith David is a force to be reckoned with. For my next song, I need to give a little background to it. Maybe I'm biased because I was an assistant stage manager for production of it earlier this year, but guys, Assassin slaps. It's an incredibly well-written musical from the one and only Stephen Sondheim about the people who attempted, or successfully, assassinated presidents of the United States. Leading up to auditions, I watched a slime tutorial with the original Broadway cast and frequently listened to its soundtrack, and it quickly became one of my favorite musicals. Amidst its catchy melodies, it has this underlying foreboding aura to it. These were real people who were willing to take the life of someone, all in the hopes of achieving the American dream. And while I could pick just about any of the songs, I decided to go with my favorite one from the musical, and that's
I am unworthy of your love.
Listening to the song out of context, it sounds like a sweet love ballad by this nice couple named Jody and Charlie. He sings, "I would swim oceans, I would move mountains," while she proclaims, "You are wind and devil and God." Aw, how romantic. But then you start looking into it only to discover that, oh no, they're not singing to each other. They're singing about Jodie Foster and Charles Manson. Their names are John Hinckley Jr., who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan in the hopes of winning the affection of the actress, who was only 18 years old at the time, and Lynette Squeaky Fromme, a member of the Manson family and lover of Charles himself, who attempted to assassinate Gerald Ford in order for him to preach his teachings at her trial. And the freaky thing about this is that they're the only two assassins depicted in the musical who are still alive. So as far as I know, Squeaky is quietly living in New York with a boyfriend of hers, and she's still in love with Manson, and Hinckley has been posting his art and music online. Yeah. Take that for what you will. All of this to say is that Unworthy of Your Love does an excellent job showcasing the dark side of obsession, how two people can fall victim to their delusions and cause them to commit a heinous act, and maybe is more relevant today in the age of fandoms and the internet. All wrapped up in the style of a 70s love ballad and released in 1990. Splendid. I highly recommend checking out the musical. It's chock full of villainous songs like these. Well, stick to the Broadway version, I'd say. I mean, come on, it's got Barney Stinson and everything.
I have the honor to be your obedient servant.
While The Room Where It Happens is my favorite Hamilton song because Leslie Odom Jr. is just that gosh darn sensational, I knew I had to go with Your Obedient Servant. Everything in the musical and Aaron Burr's life has led to this. Despite once saying that duels are dumb and immature, he makes a decision to challenge Alexander Hamilton to one. They've had their disagreements over the years, but the election of 1800 was the last straw. After Hamilton promotes Thomas Jefferson as the president, Jefferson pours salt on the open wound by overturning the policy where the runner-up becomes vice president, even though that's how he became VP during the Adams administration, and the way he completely ignores Burr's outstretched hand and the way Burr keeps it out for way longer than he should have. Oh my gosh, hey Aaron, what are you doing? And you see how much his loss completely gutted him. Oh my gosh, just look at him, he's incredible. Leslie Odom Jr. just gets it. Anyway, Burr gets so fed up with Hamilton's lack of respect for him because of all this. The song starts with this ticking rhythm, giving a sense of calculation to his motives, but of course we find out that he instantly regrets it once he gets the chance to not throw away his shot. I love the mini reprise of The Room Where It Happens, especially with the way Leslie sings.
For the last time.
All of it flows so nicely, especially later with his first
Your obedient servant.
And
Answer for the accusations I lay at your feet, or prepare to bleed, good man.
smooth as butter. The ensemble is also delightful to watch with their rhythmic passing of the papers. And the fact that the Bullet character is the one who gives the quill to Burr when he starts writing to Hamilton. Ooh, symbolism! The Baroque era strings are also a nice touch, making Hamilton and Burr's obedient servant comments feel all the more petty. And even some of the hand gestures are in sync with the instrumentals, and I'm obsessed with it.
Servant.
I may be the last person on the internet to be praising Hamilton, but it truly is a fantastic song. One of my absolute favorites from the show, if I have to be honest.
We hawking, dawn, guns, drawn.
Hotel Trivago.
Okay, maybe this is the most obscure one on this list, actually. I mean, it is from a Disney movie that technically doesn't exist. Before it was a hilarious buddy comedy known as The Emperor's New Groove, it was originally a musical epic akin to The Lion King set in Peru called Kingdom of the Sun. TLDR went through development hell and was all captured in this really great documentary called The Sweatbox y'all should check out. And yes, this is actually the highest quality of it you can find. Disney buried it because we don't like being painted as the bad guy. Wah. But one of the few things that has survived through it all was Yzma's villain song, sung by the ever iconic Eartha Kitt. While we are able to enjoy the song in its entirety on the Emperor's New Groove soundtrack, there's crumbs of what it would have looked like in the movie, so I only have so much footage to work with. Anyway, in this version of the story, Yzma has had enough of her old age and longs for her beautiful, youthful appearance, so she wants to snuff out the light, aka destroy the sun to get her revenge. It begins with this night lounge vibe with a gorgeous piano accompaniment as she monologues, emulating something the real Eartha would have sung at the height of her career. There's some great rhymes like mortician and magician. The main chorus is stupidly infectious. I love the way she growls lying in this lyric.
Murder, treachery, and lying.
And it shortly follows with the instrumentals cutting out when she says,
Really can't blame a girl for trying.
The Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorite Disney movies, but I do wonder what could have been if Kingdom of the Sun went into fruition. I'm just glad we're at least left with a banger of a song.
On the rocky road to Dublin.
Recency bias be damned, Rocky Road to Dublin really does slap that hard. I yapped about it in my K-pop Demon Centers video a couple months ago, and guess what? I'm gonna do it again. Jack O'Connell, my beloved, seen in 70mm was incredible, blah blah blah. Let's talk about how it relates to being a villain song. Rocky Road to Dublin is an 18th century Irish folk song written by poet D.K. Gavin as a man embarking on a trip to Liverpool, England from his hometown of Tuam, Ireland, but of course he makes a stop at the titular Dublin and gets his belongings stolen. While the Mississippi Delta is figuratively and literally far from jolly old England, the main vampire Remick goes on his own quest after English colonizers invade and steal his land however many centuries ago. On the Sinners Movie Spotify page, you can even find a newspaper article of an Irish immigrant ship that was left with no survivors that alludes to Remick fleeing the scene, meaning that according to the date, he arrived in America in 1911, 21 years before the events of the movie. I already drew a parallel between the Dublin thief in the song and the colonizers in the movie, but in the final verse, the protagonist arrives in Liverpool, where he's ostracized for his nationality and starts a fight, much like how Remick disguises himself as not just a human, but one from the south by changing his accent in order to assimilate with everyone else. And his first victims we see are Bert and Joan, two clan members who would have killed him right then and there on the doorstep, since Irish people weren't considered to be white at the time. However, the final verse finishes with a group of men from Galway, a town not far from Tuam, defending the protagonist from the fight. And you can read into this as the newly turned vampires, including Bert and Joan, helping Remick reach his dreams of being reunited with his loved ones, which is why he's going after Sammy in the first place. He's the one who has the musical power to bend space and time and make contact with musicians of varying genres and time periods. That's also why Remick performs the song in his natural accent and starts step dancing. You can see it as an intimidation tactic towards Smoke, Sammy, and everyone else in the juke joint, or Remick attempting to make a genuine effort to emulate what Sammy had done just a little earlier. But even if Rocky Road to Dublin didn't thematically connect with the movie, it's still my favorite sequence because it freaking slaps. I'm ripping this straight from my K-pop Demon Centers video, but you have Remick being the icon that he is, cornbread vibing, Mary twirling her dress, and the melody itself is used as Remick's leitmotif throughout the movie, as a soft violin solo when he's vulnerable, whether physically or emotionally, to represent the tragedy of his backstory. But some things I noticed after I finished the video was the organ and Gregorian-like choir popping up in certain tracks in the score relating to the vampires, specifically in Not What He Seems, Sheabu, and Hole Up Till Sunrise, further reinforcing the Christian or Catholic symbolism. Anyway, I guess I get why the song had to be cut down in the movie, gotta have good pacing and whatnot, but there's a slightly extended version with Mary and Stack dancing together, and it's so cute. I wish it had been left in. But overall, I can definitely see why Rocky Road to Dublin was chosen as a vampire hype song. It's not just the Irish song from Sinners, it shares a deep connection with Remick and his plight, and it's another reason why Sinners has become one of my favorite movies from this decade. So, speaking of K-pop Demon Centers, recency bias once again be damned. Your idol really does slap that hard. It was really difficult for me to choose this or Rocky Road to Dublin as not just my preferred villain song, but my favorite song, period. I already talked about this one at length in that old video of mine, so I do recommend checking it out so you can get my full thoughts. But I am going to reiterate some of my favorite aspects, as well as point out some new ones I discovered after posting that video. I love the Saja boys revealing their true selves to their fans as demons, the Dies Irae chant in the intro was awesome, Baby's rap solo goes hard, and the key change in the final chorus is simply astounding. I've also listened to the acapella version of the song and noticed the harmonizing through the song from the various members, which is just chef's kiss, but also how some of the audio tracks have been layered on top of one another and have some reverb added to them in order to sound, for lack of a better word, demonic. And during the instrumental breaks you have one of them, I'm guessing either Genu or Baby, going straight up pfft, and I think it's really funny. Even though the bridge is short, I like how living in your mind now, too late cause you're mine now was chanted to fit the gothic aesthetic, and I made a similar discovery with the instrumental version when I heard the organ at the beginning. You guys already know I'm obsessed with Your Idol. I will not be surprised if this and Rocky Road to Dublin show up on my Spotify Wrapped, but it's a shame everyone in the movie forgot about it after Huntrix saved the day or whatever, especially because it got cut down from the soundtrack. That's the real loss.
In their rendition of the Cell Block Tango.
My old friend Cell Block Tango. Believe it or not, I first fell in love with the song via, please don't laugh at me for this, the Glee version back in high school, which soon made me interested in checking out the movie, and yes, I much prefer this version, on top of Chicago becoming one of my favorite movies in general. I've listened to the Broadway versions too. Whatever. First of all, I love the build up to it. It's Roxy's first night in Cook County Jail, and since she views the world in this musical theater lens, she interprets the leaky faucet, a guard's footsteps, and prisoners' nails against the prison bars in tempo with one another, as the band leader announces the 6 merry murderesses in their rendition of the Cell Block Tango, as they all chant pop, sick, squish, Cicero, Lipschitz. They tell their stories about why they killed their love interest for one reason or another, seamlessly intercut with them explaining it in the real world as they do this incredible choreography with red scars symbolizing blood, except for Katalin Holinsky, a Hungarian woman who's the only innocent one on death row. She's not able to prove her innocence due to the language barrier, so that's why she pulls out a white handkerchief instead. However, my favorite sequence is Velma Kelly explaining she killed her sister and husband because she caught them doing the number 17, if you know what I mean. Catherine Zeta-Jones is absolutely belting, asking how could you tell me that I was wrong, while the other prisoners overlap and saying how could you tell her that she was wrong at the exact same time. Ugh, cinema for real. Don't even get me started on the blood red lighting and when it changes to make the floor look like prison bars, and then the backdrop of silhouetted women behind bars while the final chorus goes into the spectacular, intense climax. Bruh, it's so good. The movie may peak early on because of this number, but that doesn't mean there's bops later. Cell Block Tango is iconic for a reason, and that's why it's one of my favorite villain songs. It was a murder, but not a crime. What else can I say? Before we get to number 1, let's talk about some honorable mentions. Gaston reprise from Beauty and the Beast. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I really like this reprise. Thinking being a dangerous pastime for Gaston is hilarious, it's catchy, and I love the way the chorus sings, so his marriage we soon will be celebrating. It slaps, sue me. It's gonna get weird from Gravity Falls. A Bill Cipher musical number is a match made in heaven, and it's an absolute crime it wasn't able to make it into the series finale, let alone be recorded by Alex Hirsch. What could have been? Mother Knows Best from Tangled. Again, it does the thing where it makes the instrumentals all pleasing to listen to make it all the more manipulative. Great stuff. The last 45 seconds of The Plagues from The Prince of Egypt. My favorite part of my favorite song from my favorite movie. It's the only time Ramses sings, and I cannot be more obsessed with it. But yeah, it doesn't make it an actual villain song, and unfortunately none of the songs from the stage musical live up to it, so oh well. And finally, all the other songs from Assassins except Something Broke, specifically The Ballad of Guiteau. I could go on about how much of a little freak derogatory the real Charles Guiteau was, who assassinated President James Garfield. Just know that I love the balladier's inclusion in the song. Guiteau's whole thing about I am going to the Lordy, I am so glad, was written by the actual Guiteau, and he sang that just before he was hanged, and how he asked to have a band accompany him during his execution, which was denied, but here it is being recreated on Broadway 100 some odd years later. Oh yeah, and there's a miniseries coming out really soon that's going to be about Guiteau, and I'm really looking forward to watching it because of this musical. The Presidential Assassins have become one of those niche historic events that I'm utterly fascinated with. But that's enough of that, let's finally get to the number 1 best villain song. So if you've been counting along, you'd realize that I have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 9 songs composed by the legendary Alan Menken on this list. If you count the honorable mentions, of course. This is the 9th one, and not only is it my favorite villain song, I think it's Menken's best work, and I hope I'm not too much of a freak for saying this, my favorite Disney song, period. This is...
Like fire, hellfire.
It's Hellfire. How the hellfire am I not supposed to put it at number 1? This is not just a song. This is a lustful, desperate cry for help as a man pleads with God while he battles his innermost desires, coming to the conclusion that if he can't have the woman he craves, no one can. Damn, that was actually kind of good. First try. The way the colors leap off the screen, from the cool-hued evening, the fiery yellows and oranges from the fireplace, to the blood-red robes of the hooded monks towering over Frollo. The way his hair becomes more disheveled as the song progresses, as his yearning completely consumes him. The way he imagines Esmeralda dancing amongst the flames, taunting him as she becomes a smoky apparition and disappears before she's in his grasp. The way he's enclosed in light shaped like a coffin, foreshadowing his grisly demise when he doesn't know when to quit. the way he passes out on the stone-cold floors of the Palace of Justice at the very end of the song. Coming up just after Quasimodo's gentle ballad Heaven's Light, another song dedicated to Esmeralda, Frollo contrasts Quasi's mindset by describing his feelings as being fire in his skin and that it's turning him to sin. He deluded himself into thinking that Esmeralda's at fault for making him feel this way, which is why he decides that she needs to choose him or the fire. You know it's a good musical number when the storyboards for the scene fold out in the art book. Thank you, Paul and Gaetan Brizzi. Hellfire is an absolutely sensational song. Its gothic atmosphere is a breath of fresh air in animation, let alone the mainstream, as its lyrical themes of lust and religious corruption push the boundaries for the medium. I will probably make an in-depth analysis of the song at some point. I mean, this movie has meant so much to me for almost half my life now, so I'll just leave it at this. In my opinion, there will never be another Disney song like Hellfire. There will never be another Disney villain like Frollo. And there will never be another Disney movie like The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And that's my list for the best, rather favorite, villain songs. I made a Spotify playlist version if you want to check it out, including the honorable mentions and some extras with some particularly villainous tracks from movie scores for funsies. Go check it out, I have the link in the description, and let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, hype, join my Patreon and all that jazz, and I will see you later. Okay, bye!